What is up, entrepreneurs? Just sliding on over. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you. Hope you're having a fantabulous day. Welcome to the Friday live stream, where today we're going to be diving into a little bit of the process of errors that get made when it comes to hiring a video editor. Excuse me, if you're not familiar, we kicked off a course this past week or so, and that is the Building a Team course. You can put the QR code up or put your phone up to the QR code on the screen with your camera app, that is, and it will take you directly to the webpage, which is buildingateam.live, and that will take you directly over to the course. We're already into week 2. It's a very short, concise course because I don't feel like it takes that long to do it right and to do it well. And so the lessons are super concise. You get all the PDF guides and all the rest. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Diana Gladney. I'm your resident content creator, as well as a video marketing strategist. I'll say that much. So if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And what is going on? And wait for me to come. I'm coming very soon. Okay. Welcome to the live stream. I don't know why that was all the way over there. What's up, Albs? Good to see you. Saying hello, hello, hello. Is that Alicia or Alicia? Is it Alicia? Let me know how to pronounce that correctly. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Alrighty, so switch it up here from the last set of videos that I was doing. Alrighty, so it's a couple mistakes that most people usually make when they're getting ready to hire a video editor, and I want to specify. This is if you are into some form of content creation, like you're making a YouTube channel around like usually education, tutorial-based content. That's all of what I teach. Helping entrepreneurs simplify the video creation process. So if you're talking about hiring a video editor, that's usually the realm and the scope of the who I'm helping to do this with. Not that you can't be in some other profession, but you have to know the nuances of the what you need that person to do in order for them to work well for you. And we talked about that on the previous live stream and on some of the previous content on the channel around when you're going through the application process, when you're getting ready to get somebody started. What do you actually need them to do? What should they actually be skilled in doing? Like, and knowing what the scope of work is going to be. Are they predominantly going to be doing vlogs? Are they predominantly going to be doing tutorial-based content? Or is it going to be a mix? Are they going to have to pull and source micro content from your live streams or other video content that you may be doing? So it just depends on the nature of the what you're asking this person or what your expectations really are of that person. And from there, deciding like, okay, like I need them to do this more. So before we dive into that, probably have that in mind as we're going through these few tips today. First one being the first mistake, not identifying if this person has raw skills or if they are actually a skilled video editor. And what I mean by that is everybody's going to say that they can do the basics or that they can do whatever it is that you ask them to do. The difference is like, where are you at in your journey? And are you someplace where I need somebody that I don't mind working with them, and cost can be a factor of how much you're able to invest on a monthly ongoing basis for a video editor. And if you have questions about anything in the process, or if you're working with somebody now and you're kind of like, we're running into some challenges, let me know. You can put those in the comments. We are multi-streaming as well. Again, testing this with Ecamm Live. So with the magic of Ecamm, your comments should be coming in. But if not, the best place to come and leave comments and to engage is on YouTube. So if you're on some of these other sites, just FYI, if you're not seeing your comment come up on the screen, I'm not skipping you. We just may not be seeing it. So YouTube is the best place to come over to. But when you're thinking about like hiring somebody and you're reviewing the work, that's what we are, where we are right now in the Building a Team course, is going through the process of like, if you have gotten this person through the application process, you're looking and reviewing applications, like you've done all those base steps that we talked about in the course. Then at this point in this stage in the process, you're like, who should I hire? I'm looking through all of these people's applications, and everybody can send you literally any video, but it's really in identifying, is this person somebody that has raw skills and they can do what I need them to do? Or is this person like already a skilled video editor? And here's some things to look for when you're doing that. My number one thing, audio. without a shadow of a doubt, is going to be audio. Now, if somebody is sending videos like this in where it's headphones, it's not that loud of an environment where that person may be recording, then it may not be a whole lot for that person to fix, from an audio perspective. But if I notice that across, maybe if they're sending you, especially sometimes people like to send you like their Google Drive portfolio of work and stuff. If that person is sending me stuff and I'm like, we have in our process that we're teaching in the course, I don't want to look at your whole portfolio. I will only check out the portfolio if I see the base requirements of what I'm looking for needing to be met. And like I said, that number one thing for a fact, audio. If that audio sucks or if there's something that's wrong, number one, it's like you have to also give grace with what kind of clients that they're working with also, because some stuff is just like, I don't care if somebody sent me stuff. If the audio's jacked, the produced audio is going to be jacked, so it's not the editor's fault. And so you got to know, is this person dealing with raw skills where they don't know to fix something, or are they already a skilled editor? Now, if they are sending you the portfolio, you have no context of the work that you're looking at, or kind of what the before work was like when they got the raw files. And now that is like, this is the best I could do with it. And maybe they haven't worked with that many clients. Then again, now we got to point out, like, what are the raw skills here? Anybody, I don't care the level of stage that they're at, can go find stuff on story blocks like transitions and whatever, or in Bottle Market, and pick some stuff out from a lower thirds to title screens and whatever. That does nothing for me at all. However, when I'm knowing that I'm dealing with somebody that's a refined editor, like this person actually has some skill, timing and pacing, that's not something that comes in a template form. I don't care the best recorder of content. Like, again, you're doing your content, you can send mistakes and stuff like that. Don't think you have to pre-edit stuff out to send it to them. But if you're running into the process where it's like, should I fix this for him? No. See what this person's real skill is. And like, you can't judge that with looking at what they send in, which is fine. But at the same time, like, what's the pre-work here? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this, like, did they fix the audio? Is the timing and pacing good? You know what I'm saying? Like, so those are the things that I tend to look for. Like, raw skills is like, maybe the original file sucks. It could be overblown. So like the highlights in the lighting area. So maybe it's like super duper bright, and past the point, there's really not much you can do with it. Even if like that, you can tell the footage may be recorded on a smartphone or what have you. Then it's some things that's like, maybe the original file wasn't that great, but is the pacing of the video good? So that gives me some indicators, like a little bit of a check mark there, if I'm dealing with somebody that actually has skills in editing. Like, you can tell they've done quite a few projects, or even if they haven't been editing that long, that this person still understands those base concepts. If they're looking at, like, this person wants to transition, let's say, from doing vlog style content or doing just whatever random work, and they say, yeah, I would love to just do education-based content or whatever the niche or the focus of what your business is about. Let's say you're a consultant or a coach, or let's say you're into real estate even. If you're doing that kind of stuff, they'd be like, yeah, I don't mind doing these kinds of videos and the like, but all you're looking at from their previous work is something that's way off base. That's when you have to look for and identify those raw skills. What are those, like, okay, like, they're not doing stuff in my niche, or they haven't done this. Do you want to take a chance in this person? Potentially, like, you're the person they're going to test and figure stuff out on. I'm not for the trial runs in that sense. So, because it can be a waste of money, and the hiring costs you time. There's an investment financially of you bringing that person on and hiring them and then paying them, but there's an investment of your time for you to take this person through a process, evaluate applicants and stuff like that. So you have to know, what are the differences between, are they qualified, like, and they already like clearly have the skills of what you need, like it's an easy yes to that person, at least moving them to the next stage of potentially hiring them? Or do you have to pick from a pool of like being able to identify those raw skills? And like I said, for me, the number one metric for that is going to be just audio. Audio is a huge indicator, and then pacing and the timing for the video, as well as the timing for when they put stuff on screen. Is it late? And I'm saying, like, today's tip we're going to be talking about, or in today's video we're going to be talking about the Shure SM7B and why it's the best live streaming microphone for video. And then like 12 seconds later, the title screen finally comes on. Those are things when I start questioning, like, what the hell are they doing? So just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you start looking at me like, what the hell is happening here? You know what I'm saying? So some things to take into consideration, but that's the first mistake, is just not identifying who you're working with. Don't let time of editing distract you from the actual edit. Because just because somebody's been doing something for a long time doesn't mean, let's clear the plate here. Just because somebody's been editing for a long time does not mean that they're a good video editor. And it doesn't mean they're going to be a great video editor for you. You all know people that have worked at a singular job. Maybe they're a coworker or what have you. They've worked at the company for a long time. That does not make them a good employee. You know what I'm saying? So if you take from nothing else, take your own work and experience, or even if you're going to a store or a restaurant and that person, you know, that person's been there for years because you've been doing business with that particular store for years. And they've consistently sucked. And you wonder why does this person still have a job here? So those are some things to consider. Then the second mistake that I see a lot of people making when they're going through the hiring process is you, the creator, you don't have any established brand standards. If you don't have any established brand standards, and I'll go through what some of those are, because that's important. If you want to start getting this editing stuff off your plate, you don't have to like figure every little thing out before, but you do want to have some basic stuff set in place. You can't just keep hiring, and like hoping that you'll find somebody that's good enough that they can figure it out for you, because it's not their job. Like, you have to know what your brand is, what it's about, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And if you haven't established like what brand standards are, how should they know? If you know, you specifically, even down to like fonts, like just go through a basic 3-minute version of the most common type of video that you would make or you want to make, even if it's like you're not able to put as much content out as you want to right now. It's like not getting discouraged by that and knowing that, like, okay, if I hire somebody, then I know I'll be able to fill in the blank X, Y, and Z kind of stuff. But if I went through like a basic 3-minute video, even take the best video that you've made to date and start saying like, okay, I want somebody that's able to make sure the music isn't too loud. It doesn't matter, like, you don't have to have that specific decibel identified. We do. Like, we do have the range, but it's just knowing that, okay, I don't want the music too loud. Check. Okay, put that down. Then knowing I want only these predominant 1 or 2 brand colors used in most videos, and these are the accessories, you know what I'm saying, like secondary colors, if you will. Then at that point, be like, okay, cool. But if you don't know like what it takes to get a video from the raw version to approved and like it's ready to now and it's acceptable to publish, what goes into that? What's okay? What's not okay in your book? If you don't know what those are, sometimes that person that you may be hiring isn't skilled enough to, you know, they're not, I won't say taking the initiative, because this is your fault at this point. Like, this is something that you should bring. This becomes a hiring mistake when working with an editor because you don't have this, but they won't always have the wherewithal to know to ask, because they're just thinking like that you may have these things in place already. They won't know. So even if you just want somebody to do 4 videos for you a month, and that's all that you need to make things that much easier and more successful for you as a creator, as a content creating entrepreneur, you have to be able to say like, these are the things that must be in every video. Just look at like, and start setting a standard. You can change the rules later. Like if you say, you know what, I said to put in, you know, the promo for whoever, maybe let's say you're doing a brand deal with somebody, and everybody, y'all, if you've watched any level of tech tutorial channels or anything, like this video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you're looking for a website, like you could requote that verbatim. And you know, even just for other ones, or like NordVPN, they run a lot of ad spots with a lot of creators, and they tend to say the same stuff. If you notice, all of those ad reads are within a certain amount of time in the video. So it may be somewhere within the first half of the video, or even the first quarter of the video. So if you have something, just be like, yeah, it has to be before, we're getting halfway into the video. Like, it needs to be somewhere within a 20-30%. That may be further down the line. You just may want the base requirements. Fine. Baseline requirements done for yourself. Great. Let's say just making sure that you pick music that's upbeat versus they just pick anything. And some of this comes with the price range and that dealing with the expertise that person has. And that becomes something that you have to question, like, am I willing to pay a little bit more to get somebody that's more experienced, or am I willing to accept that this person will not be as refined as I want and need? And now you're accepting that I'm gonna have to train them a bit more on what I like and don't like. So that's some things to consider. And sometimes if you may fire somebody because you're like, they're just not getting it. I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my money. I'm hiring somebody that's no good. I'm just like, you feel like it's a waste of time. If that is the case and that's how you feel, something is awry in the hiring process. Everybody's excited. Everybody's going to say yes. Like, assume that everybody's going to say yes, they can do fill in the blank, hashtag fill in whatever you need. They'd be like, oh yeah, I could do that. Or they'd be like, yeah, so I noticed you haven't done this. Say you're interviewing, it's like, I noticed you haven't done this in your work. Do you think that you can do it? Oh yeah, I can do that. Everybody's going to say yeah. Very few will say in admission, like, I can't do that, or I'm not really sure how to do that. Very few are going to be honest because they want the job, especially after you've taken them through the process and like you're potentially at the place of hiring them. They want to get the job. Then they can say later, be like, yeah, I'm not that good with like color grading. I actually have no idea what I'm doing. But, I did see some videos on YouTube about it. I'm sure I can figure it out. You got to be willing to go through that process. And you need to tweak probably your interview questions just to make sure you can pull the truth out of certain situations. But like I said, this second thing here, this having no established brand standards is essential. Absolutely essential. You have to have your own brand standards. If you don't, what do you expect them to figure out? You know what I'm saying? I talked about this. We had the Entree Chats Daily morning show. It's a podcast. I actually need to record the one for today. That's a daily podcast we do like 6 days a week in the membership community. And one of the things I talked about this week was sometimes like the mistake is just in assuming a lot of a video editor, and you don't actually set clear communication and standards of what should be. Like, you're expecting them to do something, because I did the video that just came out about the update for the YouTube Shorts monetization happening. Okay, I edited that video myself because I wanted to. I knew it was a really quick turnaround for that. And I'm not going to distract from what we already have on our board of work for this and going into next week. It's like, I've edited videos myself for a long time, so it's like I can do it. And then number two is just like, it's a quick turnaround time. And I don't believe in emergencies when it comes to editing. It's just my personal preference. I don't believe in emergencies unless it's like something really big, but that's not been a thing. So I did the edit for that. The one thing I noticed is that there's no revisions when I'm doing a video edit myself. There's no feedback, in my sense of like, oh, I forgot that. Or it's like, even if I did make a mistake because it's me and I did it, you're not going to judge yourself maybe sometimes as harshly as you would somebody else that you're paying. So it's a lot of leadership skills that has to be developed in the process of hiring, firing, working with somebody, refining somebody's skills or whatever. It's so many different levels to that. But in the process of like doing a video edit, when I hit publish and I look back at it and I'm like, okay, just making sure there are no mistakes essentially, then it's like, yeah, I'm very satisfied with this edit. I can put a smile on my face and, the stamp of my proud approval. Like, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the way that turned out. And then send it. But when you're working with somebody that you are going to be hiring, you may look back at it and say like I'm tired of like every video is a mistake. Every video is the same thing. Dang man, like it's, if you're feeling like that, communication clears a lot of it clears a lot of stuff. It really, really does. What you may have seen with somebody sending their portfolio and the work and whatnot may be great, but I guarantee you, anybody that works with my company, even if it's not a great fit, they walk away a much better video editor than when I initially hired them, because there's so many other nuances and refined skills for what we do that they did not have probably walking in the door. You know what I'm saying? And so knowing that, and like you're working with somebody like that, you have to have those refined, established brand standards so that when you're working with someone, it's not a stressor and it's not a headache. Because if every time you're just like, I'm tired of sending this back, I don't like enough, like whatever, like just whatever. Like if that's where you at, like something is amiss. Something is amiss. Got a question in here from Michael. I'll be dropping that into the comment section in just a second. I'm gonna put a star right there so I can come back to it. Last point here, and then we can go into any Q&A that you all have. Mistake number 3, no approval process for video content. This is a you mistake. A lot of times it's like the perception of like hiring a video editor and all of that and working with a team, building a team. A lot of this is on you. The one greatest thing that I learned from my mentor, Ray Edwards, is that everything is your fault. Everything, like as the owner, the content creator, that everything, you assume responsibility for what is and is not happening, what goes well and what doesn't. Like any praise, great things, I give that credit to my team. Any mistakes, 100% mine. We had our team huddled this past Monday. We got some stuff that's going awry. Not like there's mistakes and stuff, but there's some things that like it's not going great and it's my fault. Legitimately my fault, not just to say it so it sounds cute, but legitimately my fault. When you are working with somebody and you go through and you realize that I'm constantly touching a video, this third thing, it's your fault. As the content, there's no approval process. You don't know what it takes for a video go through and be like, that's great. It's always a figure it out process along the way. You have to set a system. We talked about that in the previous live stream. If you don't have any system set in place, sometimes you will lose people, or they start like degrading in the quality and degrading in the work because you don't have systems and stuff in place, and it becomes deflating to work for you and work with you. When you can show up to a job, like imagine like all of us had these, I feel like all of us had at some point like a terrible job as maybe a teenager or a young adult. If you were expected to figure stuff out, or you're had a supervisor or something, and I've seen this even, early years of working, where somebody said like something to somebody else, and they'd be like, why are they blaming you? Like, this store looks a mess. We're getting a review and y'all don't do nothing. Just like, what you yelling at us for? We don't know what we're supposed to do in here, or what it should look like, or you got some manual that nobody's ever seen and everybody's supposed to abide by the rules. We don't know what you're talking about. If that is the case, it's your fault as an entrepreneur and content creator. The reason why you want to assume responsibility and share in the solution when you're hiring and building a team is so that, number one, the morale of your team and stuff like that is so important. Even if it's one person, when you can start using the word team, when you have one person. One person. As soon as I hired my first person, it was we. It stopped being I. Even in the comment section, like I'll notice, like I have to sometimes turn that off because it doesn't make sense. I'm like, when we're doing, like it's a we. Because when stuff goes great, I say we. When there's complimented stuff, it's a we. Or it's a them rather. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, you did a great job on this video. Kudos to the team. I'll pass that along. It goes to the compliments go to them. When it's a mistake, it's an I. So the responsibility and the stewardship of you working with these people, it can't be like so dismissive and stuff. But if you don't have also an approval process of a yes, this is what it takes for it to work, and a yes, this is what's going to make this work. They don't know. And if they're always feeling like everything that they send you is never good enough, I'm quitting too. I'm quitting too. We can't never get nothing. Ain't nothing never right. That's some good English for you right there. Ain't nothing never right. Put that on the poster. Ain't nothing never right. You know what I'm saying? If they're always sending you something and it's no ever, man, like you did a great job with whatever. And I don't lie about gassing my people up if something wasn't right or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But can we get some praise for what's going well? Can we get some praise for what they're doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you don't have an approval process of like, here's where we're starting with this video. These are the must-have necessary things before this video gets approved. A definitive standard of stuff of what it takes for it to get approved. They always gonna feel like it's always something wrong. They can never do anything right. They can never accomplish what you want. They never even know what you want. They never even know what you want. Tell you about a big mistake that I made, and then I'm getting to some comments and stuff like that. I'll check the comments in a second. It got to my attention, like this is, I'm pondering on some stuff these past couple weeks, and like I'll take notes forever and a day. Cop this yellow notepad from my mom. So she had like 2 or 3. I'm like, let me slide one of these with me. So, and I'm just like, just to take some time to ponder out loud on paper for me to get the feelings out of the situation. And there's never, like, I'm very proud and happy with the work that my team did consistently. But I'm just thinking like, what's the next level goal? Where does God want me to do with this channel? What does God want me to take with the content? Like, who am I serving? How am I helping people? You know what I'm saying? Like, I for real be getting deep, like, what's next? What's the focus right now? Where are we going? Who are we serving? Where are they at? What do they need help with? Like all of that. And it came to my attention. I said, you know what I haven't done? I've never fully clarified, not to the extent to where I know for a fact that they could verbalize it back to me, exactly who we serve, why, and how that impacts the changes that we make on certain things. And it could be something very, very small that triggers that thought process for me. And what that wound up being was like when I notice I have to repeat something and I'm like, this ain't a them problem. This is a me problem. And that was one of the things that I brought up. Like I said, it's 100% my fault. And if I sent you a link to a copy of that team call, that's exactly what you'd hear me say. It is 100% my fault. Because I am the problem in not clearly communicating exactly what that is and how that, as we make changes or as the community goes and grows different places, as the target audience has different needs and stuff, while we do say yes to certain things, while we don't, while we'll decline certain channel sponsorships, while we'll entertain the idea of working with certain brands, even in considering working with certain brands to the extent of like, not just like being like a brand ambassador or something like that, but potentially being on a board someplace, being a consultant for a brand and stuff like that when it comes to their video content and stuff. Why do we say yes to certain things and not to others? It's not just a bunch of stuff locked in a vault in my brain. It's a specific reason why we say or do or don't make changes. Clear communication solves a lot of problems. But it starts at the very base level, which is something we already have in place, but this thing, not yet. Because vision casting is essential when you are an entrepreneur building a team. Just as a content creator, building a team, maybe you don't want to get into, maybe you already love what your job is, and that's cool. But you're doing something different that you're building success for now, which is why you may have a channel. What does it take for you to say yes to get a video approved? What does it take for you to say yes? Like I said, all of this stuff, and I'm going to go into comments real quick. All this stuff is in the Building a Team course. Literally. The exact systems, the exact steps. You can hold your phone's camera or take a screenshot or go to buildingateam.live. But if you are watching on your computer or something like that, you hold your phone up with the camera app to the QR code and it'll take you to buildingateam.live. So if you haven't checked that course out, I highly encourage you. Today is the last day to get the launch price. And then tonight at midnight Central Standard Time, people will be doing all this Pacific Eastern stuff. Central Standard Time, midnight, the price goes up. So FYI. All right, let's get into some comments, questions that people are having. First one coming in from Michael. Should they be using the same video editing, like, do you mean like the video editing software? I don't care if they do. I really don't care what they use personally, because it's whatever they're skilled in. If somebody tried to make me start editing in, and I love Adobe, don't get me wrong, but if somebody tried to, like the company, but if somebody tried to make me start editing in Premiere Pro in order for me to like work with their, like, we're doing like some kind of partnership with a brand, it's like, I guess it's a no then, unless you plan to make adjustments to that standard, because that's not what we're skilled in using. You know what I'm saying? Like, or it'd be one thing if we need this singular thing that's whatever, then no, it needs to be a conversion process. Like, we take a whole nother approach to that. When I'm working with somebody and I'm looking to hire an editor, and you're asking like, should this person use the same editing? No. What if they're not skilled in it? They can have 8 years of editing experience into working with a specific editing software, and then you're like, but I use this. And I would say go ahead and feel confident with letting them use what you use. Now, if you're new, I would not say, like, new to hiring this editor and stuff like that, do not give this person a video that needs to go out later this week or next week even. Do not give them a piece to edit then, and then you're trying to figure all this stuff out, trying to rush and condense it. But no, don't do that to yourself. The second thing I would say about if you're working with somebody that's not using the same video editing software as you is go ahead and make sure that you have approved plugins and assets that is specific to that editing software. So we use Final Cut Pro in the company, but I have had editors that use Adobe Premiere Pro. I don't care what you use, but it's like as far as the editing software, but you do need to go and use the specific brand approved assets for Premiere Pro. I made the decision that I didn't care initially. And I'm like, but if they're going to use something else, we already have the exact copy paste, whatever, but because there's no way to like edit the stuff, or not even going to ask somebody else on the team to like go make something for that person. We're not doing all that. So we'll like go find the stuff that works in Adobe and be like, I'm okay if that person uses that. Then you like have more of an expanded style, or it's as close to what you can do. But to kind of like avoid all of that, go to like Envato Market, get one of those plugin packages that is available on DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Final Cut Pro 10. Like, the creator of that asset went and made all those versions so that you can buy it once for like $50 or something, save it in your assets folder in Dropbox is what we teach, which you can use Drive, Google Drive, whatever you want to use for the storage. Cloud storage doesn't matter. But we use Google Drive, not Google Drive. We use Dropbox. Save that in your assets folder. So should you hire somebody, you can say, hey, our stuff is saved right here. This is where you get it from, and you're good to go. So that's what I would say for that. Mo Grizzly, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying video editor here. Hey, y'all, what's going on? Ob saying, yes, take the ownership. It's my fault, 100%. We got a super chat from Sebastian Matson. Let me pull this up real quick so I can see it a little bit better. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Saying thank you so much for all that you said. I've learned a ton. Are you cropping right now, and what lens are you using? So if you mean like clear image zoom or something, no. If like the link is in the description for the exact gear that I use for the live streams and any videos, honestly, if you see this angle with like the bookshelf here, the painting, the little sofa, even the bookshelf that's usually like over here, this angle, this microphone setup and stuff, this is always using the Sony a6400, and this is always using the Sony 35mm f1.8 lens at f1.8, and then the Shure SM7B for the last year or so or whatever. So this is always what I'm using. So it's like, oh, it's this. Saying your question was off. No, you're fine. We're into Q&A segment now, so it doesn't have to be only about the topic. I noticed that last week. Once we're past the core content, because I just want to make sure I get that done to maintain the integrity of the replay for anybody that comes after the fact, so that it's not like one small tip and surrounded by like 45 minutes of questions. So we're into Q&A. So if you have other questions that may be about video or even other stuff on the channel, you can feel free to ask. But the Sigma 16, no, it's not cropping in. This is just, yeah. Saying I feel like that's how you said, I hate Premiere Pro. What's up, Code Deb? Good to see you. Glad that you're here. It's not my personal cup of tea for editing preferences, just because when I was transitioning from Wondershare Filmora back in the day, and Filmora was fantastic. I'd love using Filmora because it had a lot of the stuff that I wanted to use in like a very easy way. And as the brand on the channel is Video Simplified, like everything on this channel is about helping to simplify the video creation process. I'm like, I don't want to have to move things on like the X and the Y axis when, like, if I wanted to say, for example, with Ecamm, if I wanted to put a text on screen, like, right? So if I'm saying like, just literally put the text here in Final Cut, like I can just drag it as simple as I'm dragging it here right now, just move it however I want to. Whereas I noticed with like Adobe Premiere, like you had to move it on like the X and the Y axis. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And it will be very little things like that that made me want to go with like Filmora at that time, because I was coming from another program that shall remain nameless that I didn't care for. And switch to that. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to a pro video editing software, it has to make sense. It's got to make sense for me. And it just wasn't. Did make sense for me to go into that. And it just seemed like the very simple things that I wanted to do for a basic video edit required more steps. And they've made a ton of updates to it, which is awesome. But it's just now I have years in the game on Final Cut, and it's just my personal preference. But I don't care what the my editors use, saying, yeah, the software, I use Final Cut Pro, and there are so many times that I want to make an edit on the fly. Or is that me just not fully handing things off? So yeah, because, so that's a 1-2 punch. Again, what is an approval process? And then 2, control freak syndrome. You're speaking to a recovered control freak. So the thing is, I don't believe in like anything that's an emergency, because you know what you want done. And there are certain things, like if you know you specifically have in mind a specific, unique approach or idea even of what you want done specifically at that part in the video, like even as you're making the video or as you're planning the video, and you like, man, I could just see it like this and being like that. Why don't you go ahead and share that with your video editor that you're working with? Because you can't expect them to be on the exact same wavelength when it comes to imagination. Like they can have great imagination, they can have great skills, but it doesn't mean that they had the same picture and vision for how you saw this video coming together and what they're seeing and how, what they're, you know what I'm saying? So if you have a specific and unique vision of like, man, it'd be cool if, share that. I share it, like if I'm in the middle of editing and I'm doing something in the raw recording, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so here's what I'm thinking like should happen. Like it'd be real cool if a big old thumb came into the screen and like shook like this and then it flew off. If you specifically know you want something like that in the video, just say that. But if it comes to making tweaks on the video, you like, man, this is pretty good, but I wish I could change that. Let go. You didn't hire this person so you could micromanage them all day long. Find you some business. Go and find you some business. You hired this person so you could get editing off your plate, potentially increase production of the video edits. Go find you some business and let it go. Now, if it's something that needs to be revised or legit changed, send it back for revision and go mind you some business. Like in a very respectful way. Go mind you some business. It's something else that only you can do that you probably need to do, and you majoring in the minor at that point. You have to learn to go mind you some business. Probably the best advice you're going to hear for control freak syndrome. Let's see here. All right, I see some comments in the question. Not comments in the. That was so backward. No, it is comments in the question. So what? Or wow, in English there are comments that I'm seeing you all having conversations in the comment section in English. Holy mackerel! And she said, "I hate" with an H. I feel you. Okay, so another question from Sebastian here, scrolling through, saying, sorry, I got sidelined because of work, boss. What software are you using right now? We use the magic of Ecamm Live. So what I use, this lets me bring up the comments. So when I brought yours up, I just hit the little bubble. And we're testing right now the multi-streaming, even down to when I wanted to bring up, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to get your comment yet, Mo. But when I want to bring one of the things up, boom, I can even see when the super chat came in. Got the little notification. All that with Ecamm. Even all of that right there, that's not Final Cut Pro. It's not Adobe. That's just built into Ecamm. If I wanted to come in here and change it, I could. Versus hiring skilled video editors, I could say, and add an S there. Right? Hit save. Realign it. That's why I love Ecamm. Extreme customization. So that's what I'm using. Ecamm Live. Go to dyna.link/Ecamm. If you want to actually, matter of fact, we're having the promotion with Ecamm. So if you want to try Ecamm Live and you haven't yet, if you go to dyna.link/Ecamm, it'll take you there. That's my affiliate link. Then if you put in the promo code, matter of fact, I had the text screen up here again. Matter of fact, I can show you this since you're asking about Ecamm. And then Mo, I'll get to your question in a second. So if I wanted to put on the screen here, I can double check. If you use the promo code Diana, the number 2 MOS, use that promo. When you go to Ecamm, you'll get 2 months free. Like I said, this is why I love Ecamm, because I don't have to try to put it in the chat or whatever. I can just put it on the screen. So you use the promo code Diana2MOS, MOS, 2 months with Ecamm Live. That'll get you 2 months for free with Ecamm Live on the trial. So if you want to try it out, it is Mac only. But yeah. All right. So Mo Grizzly, getting your question. How did you get into media business? What's your story? So this is that's a deep question. So, okay. A shortened version of that is this. So I'm living life like anybody else. Worked at the bank, worked full time in a bank. I was like 25 or something like that, maybe. And 24 or 23, I don't know, something like that, whatever it was. Either way, working at the bank, living my best life. I wasn't. And I'm living life like anybody else that's in their 20s, like eventually the one days and whatnot. Okay, move into a new place and then decide that I'm going to get all this stuff, moving it myself, because I'm the kind of person that I can do it. And just noticed that one day I started being in extreme pain and it wouldn't go away. 16 months later, I'm still in extreme pain every day. And none of the 6-7 doctors that I'm going to can figure anything out. Go to finally a specialist. That's the last doctor recommended, right? I was at my wit's end. Decided to send me to the specialist. And he's like, yeah, you need surgery emergent, like an emergent surgery right now. And I'm like, yeah, all right. All right. So whatever. I'm thinking, again, you're young, you're in your 20s, whatever. Same way I would imagine you take medicine, you expect the headache to go away kind of thing. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, we'll have a surgery. And then we'll be healed, right? Wrong. Oh, by the way, you have stage 4 endometriosis. By the way, it rotted your appendix, almost pulled out your intestines. You're almost dead. I had to stop another surgery to bring yours to help come into your surgery to kind of help save you with all of this. And by the way, you're going to deal with this for the rest of your life. Welcome to the rest of your life. Waking up from that surgery and hearing that great, wonderful news, it changed things for me. And so my first thing is to pray to God and ask, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? If I could have died, what's the point now? It has to be something, right? And honestly, that's exactly how I got started, because I'm like, okay, if this is my second chance at living life, what is life going to mean for me now? It didn't mean picking up a camera. That's absolutely not what I had in mind. But when I prayed and asked God what, they just like start doing video. And I'm like, yeah, that's not, I don't know where that came from. That's not the Lord. That's not great information at all. But I started just off of that. And you can go way back in the catalog of content on the channel. Hopefully you don't. And you can see those day one videos, which I honestly didn't start on YouTube. I started on Facebook. And yeah, man, I got started doing video that way because I'm like, okay, this is where I'm like passionate about what I was doing, is just tips around business stuff or whatever. And I'm like, I really like this as much as I like learning more about the camera, because YouTube today is not the YouTube that it was, what was it, 2016, 2017? The YouTube today is not the YouTube back then. So like the camera tech tip stuff, whatever, it just did not exist in the same way. Everybody was a filmmaker or videographer. And I'm like, I care about none of those things. I just want to learn how to use this so I can make my content. That's it. I just want to learn how to use one of these and make content. And the camera is definitely what they are now. And so I ended up learning more about the camera stuff. And I'm like, I would love somebody to explain this the way that it makes sense in my mind. And I'm like, let me go ahead and start sharing those tips. How about I just do a video on that? And it turned out the community that I was building at the time, which was super small, loved those videos more. And I loved making those videos more. So I transitioned. Didn't change and make a whole new channel, just transition into doing that. And you fast forward all these many years later, uncovered what my purposeful work was supposed to be. And so my passion is helping entrepreneurs simplify the video creation process, because I believe that everybody has a purpose, right? And everybody has something even that you're passionate about. Doing this, YouTube and videos and all the like, is a huge difference maker. You know what I'm saying? Like in the difference between people not knowing about you and your content, or, you know what I'm saying, that you even can help them in whatever it is that you do. And like the world is in like some terrible places. Like there's a lot of bad stuff going on. And I feel like if you individuals feel like whatever it is that you're creating content about, I don't care if it was baking cupcakes and you want people to have a, like your delicious rendition of a cupcake, how are people supposed to find out about you? So I believe video is the best medium that we have in order to communicate and connect with others. And I just am passionate about helping people simplify learning video, because I still don't think you need to be a videographer. I still don't think you need to be some photographer in order for you to figure this out, as the military buzzes over. But it's not important like for you to become all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to go into the weeds, become the next Peter McCormick to do this. So in a short version, yeah, it wasn't about like, I had a degree in media and then I decided, what are they doing? Can y'all hear that? Jeez. Bunch of F-16s, but no. But yeah, that's my thing. I believe everybody has a purpose. And I believe if entrepreneurs got their butts together, and just content creators, whatever your thing is, but I specifically focus around entrepreneurs, like you now have to transition into content creation. You don't need to go and become no videographer and whatever. You may fall in love with video, get gas, where just the gear acquisition syndrome, where you want to buy everything. That's fine. I don't come at stuff, the cameras and the videos, from the perspective of buy the latest every little bit of everything. No, just need to help you simplify learning video so you can get your video stuff to look good, so you can start sharing your message and start reaching the people that really actually need what you're talking about. Like I was looking at a comment on the last video from Holly, and I think I'm gonna probably do a video around that question. And she helps people get jobs in like Amazon. You know what I'm saying? At Amazon and all these other like corporate, like at Microsoft and other stuff. How important, what's the difference that it would make for somebody to go from the job that they hate right now into getting their ideal position? What doors would that open up for their family? Hell, could they just buy all the stuff on their grocery list without blinking twice at the amount? Could they fill up their gas tank every week for work and not be stressed about what number is on the freaking ticking meter? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the helping people simplify video. That's why I care about it. because it's people like her out there doing the daggone thing. And if I can help simplify learning video so that they can go and do that and reach the people that they actually care about, that's why I make content. That's why I make content. So I answer your question in a very long, short version. That's why. Saying, what's the cost on the camera, on the Cam Live? Or you mean Ecamm Live? I'm not into using OBS. It seems too complicated. Let's see here. I don't know what I'm not even gonna front. I don't know what it costs for Ecamm right now per month. I have no idea. It's a great question. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Because I'm like, I have not looked at the price for Ecamm in so long. So I honestly have no idea. But we can go pull that up. Let's go to, I'm just closing out of some of my 83,000 internet windows so I don't get judged as I usually do on the live streams for having 27,000 internet windows available. Let's go to plans. And then I'm going to share this on the screen so y'all don't have to like go figure it out. Let's go in his, all right. So current plans right now for Ecamm. Of course, this is the yearly. Again, you can save 20% on this. 14-day free trial if you just go through the website. Use the promo code I was talking about earlier. Then you get 2 months for free with the 2 months free trial rather. Standard right now, 16 months on the yearly plan. Excuse me, $32 for the pro plan. If you go to a monthly, like a month by month kind of a thing, after your free trial, it'll be $20 per month on the standard plan and $40 per month on the pro plan. Now, I did a video a long time ago about the difference between the standard and the pro account. And so multi-streaming is through Restream, Switchboard, and like right now, that depending on where you're watching this from, I think mostly everybody's from YouTube right now. That is, we're beta testing the multi-streaming natively within Ecamm. And so, but you currently, like in the public account, then you'll just get that. But that'll be coming, and that may, I don't even want to guesstimate what that might be or which plan that might be in. So because I don't honestly know. Screen sharing via picture-in-picture, all that stuff, you get everything that I'm doing right now in comment app stream or in-app comment on the stream, all of that green screen, which I never use, customer overlays, branding, all that stuff, no Ecamm watermark, like all this stuff is basically in standard. 4K live streaming is in the pro, which I can't do on this particular stream because we're streaming to LinkedIn Live, and that's a limitation of LinkedIn that it has to be in 1080p. Widget overlays is something like when I would do the buy me a coffee widget that would come up on the screen for like when we were having the membership over there, and then like just the donations for the regular live streams, that would be through that. So that's all on the pro account. The isolated audio recording would be good if you're doing it for podcasts, because if you notice right now in the live stream, I can cut the music up. Like this is background music that's playing natively within Ecamm. Let me show you that real quick. So this is natively within Ecamm, right? The little slider for the music, the background music, all that's in my playlist up here. Okay, when we get ready to repurpose the content for, let's say like TikTok or whatever, then I don't want them to like have the background music for certain parts because we're on a cut. Okay, well, I can remove that with the isolated audio. So that comes in handy. The audio monitor out, that kind of stuff. Some of these aspects become something more like if you're using it for any level of, I said, maybe potentially podcasting, maybe potentially for if you're getting into doing something else. Like it just depends. Like people that do like remote, what do they call it? I can't remember. I don't know. Remote producer. Like, yeah. So I'm having somebody control the stream for me remotely, or I'm hiring somebody or bringing somebody in to manage the stream and stuff like that. Then at that point, you start needing a bit more that's in the pro, but some of everything that you probably use on a day-to-day basis, you can find in the standard. But if you're doing something like a podcast and you do plan to have the isolated audio per person, because I have had issues where the guest on the podcast thing is an issue and we need to fix their audio, but mine is fine. The isolated audio is a must at that point. So those are the prices when you're looking at Ecamm Live right now. Saying I was gifted Final Cut Pro, but my schooling forced me to use Adobe Premiere like my reference is Final Cut. I feel you. 100% feel you. Saying thank you so very much for these videos and answering my question. You're very welcome. I skipped somebody, I think, on accident. Oh, Michael saying thank you. Go find you some business. 100%. I feel like I skipped somebody else's stuff too on accident, but let me re-scroll through the comments. Oh, Tiffany, that's what it was. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. I'm saying your phrase always makes me laugh. Go mind you some business. It's the truth. And you know what? Where that came from is literally my own self. I had a bunch of stuff that I'm working on and doing. And then I go to sign into what we use for the time tracking. And because of that, like it not just tracks the time, but it gives me screenshots. What I use the screenshots for is not to try to catch somebody. If I've only had one time where I've legit had to fire somebody for getting essentially like it added up to getting caught stealing time, which means you're clocking in for me, I'm paying you, and you working on somebody else's stuff, or you just not working at all. And I don't mean like, oh man, they sat for 5 and 10 minutes, or I don't know. Like, no, it's not no strict requirements like that or whatever, but they got caught for stealing time. And so that at that point, I'm like, okay, now we need to go fact proof, because I'm not going to accuse anybody for nothing. Like, I need facts. And so, but I was thinking, I I wonder where this person is on this edit when I was first hiring a video editor. And I'm like, I wonder where they are on this edit. I wonder where it's like, go mind you some business. That's what I had to tell myself. Signed out, log off, go mind you some business. Go record the next videos or the next batch of recording of videos. Go record another podcast. Go reply to comments on YouTube. Go mind you some business. Because it was the 100% thousand truth. And that's most of the time what most people run into. You just go mind you some business. Shoot. Code Deb said, can you please put the affiliate link in the description? I could put it in the comments section right now, actually. And I'll put the promo code while I'm typing this for Ecamm back up there. HTTPS. You can just go to diana.link/Ecamm. So this right now is my affiliate link for Ecamm. Just go to diana.link/Ecamm. Most of the time for any stuff I'm recommending, you can usually just diana.link/ whatever that name of the thing might be, and that'll get you. But for the promo code specifically, you got to put in Diana, DIANA, the number 2 and MOS. But yeah, so that's the promo code for Ecamm. If you want to get 2 months free trial with Ecamm Live. Let's go into some more questions here. And like I said, it doesn't have to be on the topic today only. I'm trying to get caught up on some other Q&A stuff as well. All right. Tiffany said, wow, said God sees you and favors you, Diana. That story is heartbreaking and yet redemptive at the same time. You know what? I can say as much as I hate the stage 4 endometriosis, like it's a consistent thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very frustrating. Yet at the same time, I do not believe I would be as committed to the work that I'm doing if I didn't have it, because I would feel the same way that I used to feel before all of it, which was I have time to figure it out. It's no big deal if I'm doing my ideal job. It's no big deal if I work for another 5 or 10 years at this company. Everything was like eventuallys. You know what I'm saying? It lived in the land of eventuallys. And so it just like that became, like everything became that much more important. Everything became that much more important because I'm like, I really don't have time. Like you have time, but you don't have, you know what I'm saying? So it just literally changed my perspective on, am I earning the work? Like, am I earning essentially life today? Did I earn it? That's how I think every single day. Since that day, every single day, I'm constantly asking myself, like, did I like earn today? And not to say I don't have days where I just binge watch anime. and watching One Piece right now for the first time. Absolutely love it. And so all my anime heads out there love, what is the other one? Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, some other ones, Naruto. But it's not to say I won't have days where I enjoy joy, essentially. But everything is like, essentially now it's like a intense volcano white hot heat burning flame on the inside of like living on purpose. And so I can definitely say I'm extremely grateful for my purpose being revealed to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it changes how you think, you know what I'm saying, completely. Whole other different thing. And it sounds like a movie. Listen, saying you, ma'am, you are an inspiration. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Wasn't trying to go deep, but I mean, like, it's no way for me to like cut this story simple. Shoot, I just, I'm thinking I'm moving into an apartment. And I'm like, this pain ain't going away. Matter of fact, it's getting worse. It's crazy. Saying the chat is on a serious delay, like 5 minutes. That's my fault, probably. Saying 40 bones for pro. Ecamm live pricing. To be honest with you, okay, I get that. I'm not even gonna fake the funk like that's not a little bit of that's not a nice chunk of money. But I know all of us are guilty and have count up the debit card transactions for McDonald's, Burger King, Chipotle, which I don't like Chipotle. They don't have queso sauce like you know, but I could count it up on my card of the foods or something else. Not to say don't enjoy life or things, but I also know for me, my brain personally works on efficiencies. So when I see something or I'm doing something, immediately I'm thinking, how can I make this more efficient? And when I looked at, I completely switched over to Mac for Ecamm Live and Final Cut Pro. No joke. Because I was PC, Android, not that there's anything wrong with those, but I'm just like, I ain't finna get no Mac. I'm not finna do all of this. And then I'm like, you know what? Ecamm Live was $29 flat fee back in the day for I'm saying circa 2016, 2017, Ecamm was like $29, $29 or $39. And then it jumped to $79. And I'm like, let me get this and a Mac before it switched to subscription model because the writing was on the wall. I like to watch market trends and all the rest. And I'm like, everybody's switching to a subscription model because it's feasible. They can add in more things. They have more bandwidth. It's a great business model for a software company, especially like a modernized software company. Okay. I'm like, this ain't finna stay at no under $100. So let me grab this mug. So I did, and I'm grateful for it. But if I hadn't, and I was just getting started today, no cap, I would still make the same decision and not think twice about it. Number one, it's a couple things that go into that, not to be on an Ecamm bandwagon, but I am. I love the program because I love the program. Before any brand partnerships or none of all this stuff came after the fact. I put my own money towards it consistently. And so if they didn't have, if it wasn't worth it, I'd say just go with the standard or go with something else. I don't have a problem being honest. But what I will say, you'll get that money back and then some. Efficiency, time save. Any videos that y'all see me just like this, it's recorded with Ecamm. I don't need to record on the SD card. I recorded with Ecamm. It's in 4K. We just did 14 pieces of micro content, all in Ecamm. Everything in Ecamm minus the captions. The edits will go to my editor, and then the captions will be right before I upload it. We're testing something new. All in Ecamm. If I want to bring in B-roll when we are comparing cameras and all, Ecamm. It saves me so much time. The pause button, because you can't pause when you're recording your own videos on SD card. You just got to stop. That means I don't have to send 4 and 5 different videos of little cuts and stuff to my editor. It's just one file. I can get isolated audio. So I can listen to music, but I don't have to send that music to my editor if I'm going through a video edit. It just helps me get through that video recording session and live streams, podcasting, you name it. That's $40 well spent. So it's not the same, all $40 ain't equal in the live streaming software space. I put it to you that way. And that's just being honest. Saying, why do you people wear headphones when live streaming? Because, saying sorry that it's all in all caps. Because one, I can make sure that the music that we are listening to right now in the background is not this loud while I'm talking, and then you can't hear anything. And I don't trust that just because I set it there, that I won't accidentally hit something else. It happens. That's also to double check my own audio, just like when I say the plane is coming over or whatever, I can hear that. I can hear how loud it actually is, so I know if I need to repeat it. Number two, when I would do the Friday Live Helpcasts and I would put up the link and people could call in for help so I could hear them. I also can tell because I have other internet tabs other than the one for Ecamm that I just pulled up. It's something playing in the background. A lot of people make mistakes because they don't wear headphones. Just because it's me on screen or whatever doesn't mean like take the headphones off. You can, but that's how you have audio issues. I'm not about wasting my own time when it comes to doing videos and stuff like that. So I want to make sure it's right. Then that way it's a pleasing and pleasant replay experience. And it's not like, dang, I did that whole live stream, I was on mute. Or I did that whole live stream where, like, you can't tell when you're on mute because I can still hear myself with the Rodecaster Pro. But it's like, I did that whole live stream and the music was too loud. Some stuff can't be fixed after the fact. Or we get it right next time. No, how about we just get it right now? So it's a whole lot of reasons to wear the, wear headphones when you're live streaming. It's just essentials. Saying you should do a video on this living in the land of eventually. I've done plenty of content around that. I don't like to do accusatory style content. Like you should be doing, like, I hate that, honestly, because everybody, while it may be valued content, I'd rather talk about it in a live stream like this. You're welcome to leave whenever you feel like it, or come back later and skip ahead, kind of a thing. Because at this point, like I said, it's Q&A, conversations, what have you. But I'm not for the accusatory style content where I'm like talking at people. I'd rather have a conversation with someone. And if that comes up, and then it's like this may step on your toes and it may hurt, but it's in love. And let's just be upfront and honest about what's going on and whatever. Then at that point, that's one thing. But what I'm not going to do, a lot of people are going to live regardless as to what great advice may be out there. There's plenty of stuff on content on YouTube right now on that living in the land of eventuallys. I can't make people care about whatever it is that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, at some point, you have to care about what you're doing more than what somebody else says. I'm a firm believer in that. And so when it comes to like that personal self-development, it's like a it has to be on the inside. It has to come from yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can read, listen to, watch, whatever. But I'm a firm believer that for people to transition from eventually one day to I care about this now, it can't wait. Like it's vitally important to me right now kind of a thing. That transition has to be a self-imposed change versus something that they're just like, man, that was a great talk. Good inspiration, good chat. But when it comes down to the wire and it really matters, they still don't care. I can't do it because I care too much in some aspects. It's like, you don't have to figure that one out. You don't have to figure that one out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why when it comes to certain personal development content, I love it. And I used to do quite a bit of that on the channel back in the day. But I'm not into the accusatory style content because it may be good today, but it's like having somebody else blow a balloon up for you. And when the air goes out, if you don't have the wherewithal within yourself to reinflate that balloon and to constantly reinflate that balloon, it makes your balloon, it makes susceptible to somebody else popping it. And you don't have a backup. Or you didn't know to let that person not get that close kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I got my own ideas around that. Saying Full Metal Alchemist is the joints, and we're loving My Hero Academia. I've seen it. I haven't watched it. It's quite a few animes that I haven't watched, but Full Metal Alchemist, and then especially that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is my jam. Saying, so you paid $79 for life? Yes, and they grandfathered us that paid early on. They grandfathered us into the program. So it's been a quite Merry Christmas enjoyable experience for me. That's why, like, again, the land of eventualities is expensive. The land of eventualities is expensive. Had I waited, I'd paid way more money for a lot of stuff. Whole lot of stuff. I'd be paying severely for like, again, land of eventualities. Had I not got started in video, I wouldn't have been the person able to teach about cameras and live streaming video and camera, all that stuff in 2020. I would have been in a different position, way different position. Because matter of fact, the job I used to have at the bank, the people living in the land of eventualities either got fired when they were going through these waves of firing people, or I would have been SOL because of right before, I think, right before the bank closed. It was before COVID. They closed, and it was major. It was like Fortune 50, Fortune 100 company or whatever. It's a big deal. So let's see here. Those are the questions that I see. I don't think I missed anybody. So if anybody else have any final questions, last minute questions, the chat is now open because we about to rock and roll and close it. Definitely derailed from the initial topic early on, but as it is with Q&A. But I don't think I missed any questions. I don't think. But yeah. All right, cool. All right, so that's what I'm going to leave you for this particular live stream. Hope you all got a lot of value out of it. Thinking about bringing back the Friday Live Helpcast back, which, like, I think we're past a few more videos we might have on this particular topic, moving right along with the train, rip-roaring, ready to go. So if you enjoyed today's live stream, even if you're watching this afterwards and you got all the way through the Q&A segment, thanks for being here. Those of you that are watching live, thank you for being here and sharing a little bit of your time with me. And with that, guys, live with passion, as I love to end all of my live streams, well, I won't say all the live streams, but I definitely say all the podcasts. The winds of life blows on us all, but it is how you set your sails. So set your sails accordingly. That, guys, live with passion. I'll see you on the next video somewhere here on the interwebs. Peace.